Hey everybody, Brantos here. So this might be a little longer one just because of how much stuff is in here, but I wanted to break down one of the first aid kits I purchased, and I think I've added to this, but just break down like what's in one of my larger first aid kits. So what you have here before you was the MyMedic large at the time, and it was the advanced version. So MyMedic, they offer first aid kits based on varying sizes, needs. They have add-ons, stuff like that. It's a little pricier, but if you're new to making a first aid kit or you don't know what's out there and available, it's probably a good starting point for a lot of people. So just to give a breakdown of this, I did like a flexible spending account one year with work, and I didn't end up using a lot of it. So when it got towards the end of the year, I still had like $700 something in my flexible spending account. So one of the nice things with MyMedic is you can use your flexible spending account or health savings account to purchase these first aid kits because they count as medical supplies. So I bought one of these for me and one of these for my girlfriend to keep in our vehicles. We had, basic first aid kit in the house with a lot of extra items, but this makes a really good travel kit based on the bag. For this fits like under my rear seat of my truck. There's a little storage compartment. This sits in there. So what I try to do like once or twice a year is pull it out and examine everything in it to make sure, nothing's missing. Everything's in good, useful condition. There's not like holes in a bunch of stuff. Somehow mice didn't get it or anything like that. So this is a breakdown of that. So this is a pretty nice bag that it comes with. It's got like a lot of secure items to it. And it opens pretty nice. So can't complain too much. It's got a lot of MOLLE webbing. You can attach it to things. And then it just kind of folds open. So you can see this is pretty big here. I'll try to get it all on camera. But it folds open and it's got these pouches. They're separated based on like your needs. So here you see I got like shears. I got medical tape, splints, adhesion bandages. This is something that I want to check because it's like an eye wash. So I want to make sure it looks good. Doesn't look like anything's kind of floating in it or anything like that because, we've had a rough winter as far as winters go in Tennessee here. There's hydration packs with things, little finger splints there, just to break this down. So when you buy the Pro or the Advanced kit, you get the tweezers and then like the, like a scalpel kit. So this is a light to check someone's pupils. There's varying tweezers as well as, what do you call these? Like little medical scissors as well as clamps. So if you need to clamp something, a thermometer in here for checking someone's temperature. Triangular bandage with that. The other thing that this comes with, so I always make sure like, being someone that's involved with like in shooting or something like that, that you have stuff for like bleeding and wounds and suturing and stuff like that. So I bought that. This comes with a rat as well. So the rapid tourniquet, more adhesion bandages here in this pocket. Let's see what we got here. Been a while since I looked in this, but we have some gloves. So you want to make sure that you have gloves as well. I keep gloves in the truck, but there's bandage packs, so assorted bandages that they have in here. So this is one thing, if you go to MyMedic's website, you'll see different little pouches or add-ins you can buy. So if you ever use these or end up having to use ones or wanting to buy new ones, you don't have to buy the whole med kit again. You can just buy the little pack, replace it, and then it comes in a nice convenient package like this. Sorry for that being off camera. I just noticed that now. But it'll come in these kind of convenient packages like this. It's like a micro men cut. And it'll tell you like, hey, here's what's in the kit. Micro men devices. Here's, gives you things like that, a website if you need to go to, QR codes, all kinds of stuff. So if you aren't ultra familiar with first aid stuff, I think My Medic, even though it's a pricier option, it offers some good packaging as well as places to start and information on what you need to do. So I'll put these gloves back in there as well. But those are just sealed bandages packs. And then let's see, I think this is the area that some of it I might have done myself. And we'll go through this. No, so this was all with My Medic. So you get sunscreen lotion, you get lip guard, there's antibiotic ointment, there's hydrocortisone, you know, itches, rashes, things like that. So not all this stuff needs to be trauma-based. Like you'll find regularly, like if I needed aspirin, like if I was being fat, or if you have heart conditions or anything like that, and you need an aspirin for, you know, like you're supposed to take it with heart attacks or things like that. That's in here. You got motion sickness pills. You got, you know, antiseptic towelettes. You have digestion things. So like, you know, ibuprofen, Pepto-Bismol type stuff. All that stuff that, like, you don't necessarily associate it with a first aid kit, but you should have it in there because you never know when you could get stranded or something could happen and someone starts feeling sick, and you want to mitigate their, you know, terrible feelings on things. So having sunscreen, having lip guard, having all those things, I think is a pretty good idea. Like I would recommend anyone else, if you're putting together a first aid kit, that not only do you think about like extreme trauma, but you think about little things. I know, like with my son too, we have EpiPens pretty much in various areas, but you want to make sure that you have something for allergies. You never know when you could have some type of anaphylactic thing going on. So moving over here, you get more of like the trauma stuff with things, but you can see they got a really nice kit to strap everything down. So right here, this is an important one, burn shields. So whether it be sunburn, whether it be, you know, exposure to fire or actual flammable items, burns are definitely something that can keep you out of the game as far as being up to what you need to do. So I'm glad that they offer this burn stuff in there, that there's plenty of it, plenty of care, soothing stuff. You want to make sure that you have gauze pads and things like that to place on burns, because there's going to be like fluid leaking and chance for infection, things like that around burns. So you want to make sure that you handle that. Here we have space blankets. So, you know, not everything needs to be about treating something. Sometimes you just need to stay warm at night. Someone's going into shock. Someone has a fever, something like that. Space blankets are important. There's a few in here. Then there's, you know, right here, emergency pressure bandages. So you want to be able to wrap that around something. Glucose. Like kind of energy, I guess it would be like blood sugar items. So like if you have someone who's diabetic, type 1, or if you're just, you know, low on calories because you're stranded or something like that, having quick sugar will really help with things. It could help with people with shock. So the other thing is this has a whistle, you know, so if you need to notify someone, if you're stranded in the woods, something like that, you have a whistle here. Some cordage, some paracord, glow stick, gauze pads, more gauze. You go through a lot more gauze than you'd think. So there's Quick Clot in here. With Quick Clot, I would make sure you read instructions with things. There's instructions and warnings. Definitely watch a few videos on Quick Clot. It shouldn't be your first go-to, let's say that, unless you absolutely need it. But when you need it, you'll be glad you had it. So that's up there. Put this other space blanket down here. It looks like that moved. chest seals. So if you know what these are, you want to slap that in and make sure that your airway is not leaking, anything like that. You want to seal up these wounds. So it shows you, that's one of the nice things with the MyMedic and the packs and stuff, is they usually have visuals, diagrams, instructions that you can look at quick. You know, if you build your own first aid kit, you might need to add a book potentially in there. So you might be the one being treated with your first aid kit, and you can't count on a bystander knowing exactly how to use all of this stuff. So with some of this MyMedic stuff, it kind of helps, you know, or it speeds along the usage of it. And just in case, because I feel like I get these comments sometimes on videos, I was not sponsored by MyMedic. I have the receipts. I spent, I believe it was $350 for this medical kit. So it's pretty pricey. It's not a cheap thing. This was like the biggest one they had at the time, with like all the add-ins that they had at the time. So they have a few larger ones now, but those are, you know, almost like built for paramedics or someone along those nature. They have, you know, stethoscopes and all kinds of medical devices that someone like myself, what I would consider, you know, an ignorant civilian with things, would not be using. But as far as like civilian stuff and what I'm looking at, this is a pretty good kit. It's a great starting point. Yeah, you could do this probably a lot cheaper, but like I said, what you pay for with MyMedic is quick little kits like this where you can buy add-ins if you need to. They're sealed up well. They have good packaging. They have good diagrams, information on them, and it covers most, like, it's a good starting point with things. So, you know, like, you may not think that, hey, maybe I should put chapstick in a first aid kit, but you probably should, because if you're out in the winter areas, especially with me being from Wisconsin originally, it can be a concern. So we'll put, you can see here too, there's cold packs. So like if you need to ice something, if you know, if you need to reduce swelling, you want those in there. We have, like I said, glow sticks, pressure bandages, all of those different emergency things. And then, like, you know, one of the things that's nice is how organized this can be. Is, you know, you got all of your bandages in one little area, one little pouch like this. Everything's very visual. It's locked down. It's not just floating everywhere, moving around. So when I open this again, everything's going to be pretty much in the exact same spot. So I'm a fan of it. We have used this for minor items. We haven't used this for like any extreme trauma yet, knock on wood. But I think that if you wanted to get a family member a first aid kit, something that if they're not, you know, into prepping or into emergency stuff deep, that MyMedic offers some pretty good options for those types of people. And it gives them an easy entry point. So it mitigates having to know some of the things up front with like the diagrams and the instructions and the QR codes and the internet and all that other stuff. So if you're a seasoned, you know, medic or something like that, this probably isn't the kit for you. If you're someone that is kind of new to things and you're looking for a starting point, if you're just looking to get something for a family member so that you can have peace of mind that, you know, if anything should happen to them, that they can get the first aid applied to them, that they have options out there, then I definitely recommend this MyMedic stuff. You don't have to go balls out like I did with stuff, but there's a lot of people. I mean, I can't be the only one that doesn't spend his entire flexible spending account for like work or anything like that each year. So if you have that money and you don't want it to go to waste, or you have that health savings account and you want to give this a try, I don't think you'll be disappointed. One of the things that I will say, let me go grab this really quick because I see it sitting right over here. But one of the things I will say is you should also have kind of small packs and things for add-ins if you need to in other areas. So what you can see here, I got this little Rubbermaid here, and what I did is off Amazon, you can buy kind of these sample, or like what you would see like work packs of things. So off Amazon, you can buy the big packs and you have just these tiny add-ins. So like I've made smaller first aid kits, or like small packs for like if my son is going to a park and, you know, he would need allergy meds, if they need any painkillers, if they need, you know, ice packs here, things like that. So you can buy a lot of those things off Amazon and kind of like the nice packaging. The one thing that I'll say, I had an experience, and just so that you guys could learn from it, is I bought a bunch of these and I thought it would be a good idea to attach them all with a rubber band, right? So I went and checked 6 months later and the rubber band had worn into most of the packages. So if you're gonna be putting these together, I would recommend, you know, like a small Ziploc bag or something like that, or a small like sealed bag, rather than like using rubber bands or some type of pressure against those to combine them. So just my 2 cents. I hope that this helped. I hope that if you're starting out, that you think about getting a first aid kit if you don't have one, a decent comprehensive one that includes, you know, your trauma care first and foremost, but also the stuff that you're going to be using on a regular basis. So sunscreen, insect repellent, burn cream, allergy meds, eye wash, stuff like that. And that you're prepared for situations, because you know, the only thing that makes a bad situation worse is not being prepared for it. So, all right, thanks for watching. Take care, everyone.